So, I wanted to come on here and give my pre-marathon thoughts on the Destiny IP as a whole, because it's now clear that Destiny will take a little rest while Marathon takes all the glory, even though it is still looking like a risky launch for Bungie. If Marathon succeeds, Sony can look at Destiny and go, why on God's green earth would we invest any time or money into this product that you guys ruined right after we gave you almost $4 billion, when this clearly makes more money and is something that captures a way bigger audience? Or it can go terribly and Sony could go, okay, you guys are done. We are pulling the plug. We're absorbing you, and you. We're laying you off. You are getting diluted. You are getting moved over here. Destiny belongs to us. We're gonna put some buffer studio we have on it. What I'm trying to say is, if Marathon succeeds, Destiny could suffer. If Marathon fails, Destiny could suffer. And this is a sentiment I've echoed to big name content creators in this community. And their reactions have ranged from careful indifference to just straight up agreement. It is important for us to take a step back and look at what the true deep rooted issues are with this game. Like, no, I don't think that if Bungie just added new maps to the Crucible, it would suddenly revitalize the game mode. No, I don't think activities like Lawless Frontiers are good. No, I don't think Renegades was a good DLC. This isn't a Renegades review, okay? I was gonna make one, but I just didn't care enough about the game, which is ironically the perfect way to describe my thoughts on Renegades. Every Destiny DLC has the same problems, and I want to talk about them before we leave this game for a little while, because that's how we ended up here. What I want to talk about first is the lack of forward thinking these devs do. So, Bungie, when you had the idea for Renegades, did you put a clause in your agreement with Disney that would counteract the prevention of you from using any of the stuff from this expansion in the future? That was a loaded sentence. Okay, let me put it like this, right? Now it is okay. It is Destiny canon that the Praxic Order, who have been mentioned in lore since Destiny 1, are essentially Jedi who wield lightsabers, you know? So will Alnor be in Destiny 3? Will she be in the next DLC? Will she wield a Praxic blade? What about heat weapons? You have canonized lightsabers and blasters. You know, Uncivil Discourse is literally Han Solo's gun. I find it highly unlikely that any of this stuff will be referred to or pulled from in future content. And this was a problem that I raised in my Edge of Fate review. And I must reiterate, this isn't a problem with just Edge of Fate or Renegades. You constantly introduce new characters, or in this case, story elements, only to leave them behind as soon as the next DLC comes. Where is Finch? Where is Nimbus? Where is Micah 10? I was genuinely shocked when Lodi showed up and actually contributed to the story during and after Renegades, which was way more interesting than the entire campaign. Before Renegades came out, you guys did a round of interviews where one of your leads said, you know, we made a mistake with Edge of Fate, and you know, we were just still discovering, you know, stuff about the game. And I think someone even put out a tweet just saying, why on the 11th year of this game being out are you still like discovering things about how it works? I'll be so honest, by the time you hit like Shadowkeep Witch Queen, you should have come up with a formula that should have carried you the next decade or so. But here we are, and you're still coming up with these new ideas that reinvent the game. You had Pathfinder, and then Pathfinder goes away, and then we have the Portal. You did Rite of the Nine, where guns had double perk slots, and some of them were enhanced. And then by the time... This is right before Edge of Fate came out, and Edge of Fate comes out, and all those guns are irrelevant. In Rite of the Nine, you fixed the Ghost of the Deep first encounter. You made it not shit. And then for some reason, you don't keep those changes. You don't add them to the actual dungeon. And matter of fact, when Edge of Fate came out, you made that dungeon irrelevant. You made all the dungeons irrelevant. You made all the raids irrelevant. And now, yes, in June, we're going to get them back. But I said this in the last video. You can't keep doing this where you mess up the game and then a year later you fix it. That's not an addition, okay? You're just bringing things back up to square one. If you get it right the first time, it's okay. That's fine, then it does feel new. If Edge of Fate came out and all those raids had tiered gear with armor set bonuses and, you know, weapon tiers, do you have any, like, no one would be complaining. Even if the portal and power leveling launched the way it did, we'd have shit to do, man. DMG had to clarify on Reddit. Instead of an actual source of first-party Bungie news like their Twitter or their YouTube channels or anything, from DMG's personal Reddit account, a comment where he clarified that with this Shadow and Order raid update to all the old raids, the crafted versions of the weapons would also be getting the new perks. How do you not see that as the worst idea ever? Okay, not you, DMG, not you. Okay, I'm not one of those guys that goes after a community manager. Like, DMG, you're a fucking nobody. I get it, man. You just say the words, all right, bro? I feel for you. So I'm talking to the powers that be, okay? The powers that be. How do you not see that as one of the worst ideas ever? You know, if you were down with crafting, then why have you gotten rid of it for the past 2 years? You know, where's it been this whole time? How do you not realize that this is a looter shooter? If you just get the gun 5 times with a red border and then you can put anything you want on it, that goes against everything Destiny has been for the past 10 years. How do you think that letting people upgrade their tier 1 guns to tier 5s in their inventory is a good idea at all? Did you not want to bring the grind back? After the abysmal Edge of Fate experience, you should have learned that tying tier 5 drops to power level was the dumbest idea ever. How did you not go back and make that a priority fix, you know? How did you not just put tier 5s behind forfeit raids, GMs? It's not hard. Forfeit raids, GMs, comp wins, Trials of Osiris flawless cards, you know, like just the top pinnacle content that we've been doing anyway. Like, if you're a guy that is like complaining about not being able to get tier 5s, then before you weren't able to get adepts, you weren't able to get your I've only, like, listen here, I'm saying tier 5 trials guns should be behind flawless completions, and I've only gone flawless once in Destiny 2. Once I've gone flawless once. I would cope with a tier 4, okay? If it means that the loot integrity is kept, then so be it. The crafting system was a massive misfire for this game, and you started to move away from it, okay? Because it was slowly turning this game into a loadout shooter instead of a looter shooter. Yet here you are, walking that back again. Again, you're walking a change back. You got rid of crafted weapons in raids, and finally, for the first time in forever, I was playing. So after I made that video on Edge of Fate, you went back and you fixed power leveling, sort of. And that was enough to get me to raid. And then through that, I was grinding the raid over and over again on the hardest difficulty to get tier 5s. Well done. But now here you are, and you're just... is the update going to come out? And then I'm going to be able to go to the Enclave and put all the nice new perks on my Fatebringer? If that's the case, go fuck yourself. The fact that exotics didn't have tiers or stats equivalent to tier 5 when Edge of Fate came out, and and also the fact that we're still in that state, the fact that we have to wait until June to make armor have good stats is nothing but incompetency and lazy, and it's not forward thinking. You don't think. When you come up with a system for this game, you need to think, how will this be looked at and enjoyed in a year from now? What can we do to make this always relevant? That's what you used to be good at this. In Destiny 1, the April update, you brought up Prison of Elders. Age of Triumph, you brought it up again. You kept making it relevant. In Destiny 2, you introduced stupid, boring, pointless activities that become irrelevant, like Empire Hunts, Wellspring, Terminal Overload, whatever it's called, from Lightfall. You know, you make shit ones, but then you also make good ones, and then people like them, but you don't keep them up to date. I loved Onslaught and I loved the Nether. Both of these modes, where are they? In a time where just a little bit of loot could spice up the game, and you have these activities that people liked playing. People liked playing Onslaught. Yes, it was slop. Yes, it was 50 minutes of just killing enemies, but we all enjoyed it. The Nether was the culmination of years of seasonal activities like deep dive and the coil finally done right, and then you remove it in 3 months, and then later we get reclaim, which is an inferior version of it. Here's an idea. Still, please, just take this idea, please. The crawl. Just call it a crawl, and it's the same as the nether. It's the nether, but then you bring in the reclaim and make it just a different map for the crawl, okay? You have the dreadnought, and then you have the plague lands, okay? And even some of the lawless frontier, because the lawless frontier is basically that, but the renegade abilities are terrible. They're so terrible, man. They're so one-dimensional. And then if you just have these activities that people like doing, people like playing, you know, if you supported PvP, people would like playing PvP. You know, if you gave it the bones that it needed, then people would like playing it. But you never did, ever in your life. If you go ahead and tell me what you think the peak of PvP was, I'll just laugh at you. You don't even have good refresh rate on your servers. 48 hertz. That's why there's always hit reg problems. Why people who keep peeking in and out of corners are having all these bullshit plays on you. That's why your melees have been whiffing since the 9th of September 2014. It's because the fucking game mode doesn't even have good bones. And then you look at Marathon and see that it's getting dedicated servers, and I couldn't do anything but laugh, bro. I couldn't do anything but laugh. PvP players, I just feel bad for you, man. And it's, you know, sometimes it's from a sympathetic place, and then sometimes I'm just disappointed in you. Why do you play this game? It's never ever been in your favor, ever in your life. This is a looter shooter, okay? When like there are PvP players that go, oh, I hate when this game forces me to play PvE. It's always been like that, man. It's always been like that. You've always had to play through the campaign. You've always had to do strikes. You know, sometimes your meta guns come from PvE. Like, come on, guys. Come on. I feel like I'm getting sidetracked. Look, Bungie, stop adding things for the sake of adding things, okay? Because this is the type of game where you're supposed to not over-deliver. Do you know how... You know Justin Truman? This guy was spitting facts when he said that, okay? That was complete facts. Because everyone wants to look at Into the Light with nostalgia glasses. That was don't over deliver the update, okay? That was everything in that update was old shit, okay? Yes, Onslaught was a horde defense mode. We never had that before. Everything Super Black, we all were aiming for Super Black. That's an old ass shader from Destiny 1. All the guns were old, like everything was old. And even this Shadow and Order update now, I'm looking forward to it because finally I can raid. I can play the old raids. Raids, like if you just had replay value across all your activities, the same way you had them in raids, this would be one of the best games ever. I think it is. I play it the most, but it's not. I like it. I wanna like it. It's got a special place, but it does stupid shit. Oh my god, I fucked up that wheel skate. Just do some forward thinking. You know, when you add a piece of content, just think, how will this affect the game 6 months from now? You know, what about storage? What about players who don't have the money for the DLC, who buy it, you know, a couple months later, but then they try to matchmake and they can't find anyone? Like the Civ in Edge of Fate. My friend, he just bought the Year of Prophecy when Renegades came out, and he wanted a tier 5 Giver's Blessing. So we went and we tried to do the Civ, and it was just the two of us. We couldn't find people to do it with. This leads into my next point. Oh, I can't believe I spent like 13 minutes talking about that one thing, bro. Like, this is going to be a long-ass video. The DCV is like, people are so unnuanced in their opinions on it. You know, some people are saying, oh, nothing should get vaulted. I paid for this content. And then some people are going in the complete opposite direction. And then I'm over here in the middle where it's like, some of this shit, fucking nah 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 nah, hey, goodbye Titan, goodbye Io, goodbye Mars, goodbye Mercury, fuck off. I don't give a fuck. I paid for you. Good riddance. I'd pay to get rid of you. But then at the same time, of course, don't get rid of the fucking raids. We got Crown of Sorrow, and then 2 years later it was gone. 2 years. 2 years it was gone. The DCV should have been a one-time fix to a problem that Bungie should have identified fully. They didn't identify what the problem was. They made a bunch of content that was shit. They said it themselves. We looked at this content and we saw that people weren't playing it, you know, statistically. Okay, why aren't they playing it, Bungie? Because it's fucking terrible. And now we're back in the same place. Well, again, Wellspring, Empire Hunts. You know when the portal got updated, Renegades, and I saw that they added, what the fuck is it called? Savathun Spire? What are you doing? What are you doing? Ever since they did the DCV, they haven't really done it again. Yes, at the end of every annual expansion year, we'll call it an expansion year, they put away all the seasonal slop activities that no one liked. I don't like a single one of them. Let me think for a second. Hold on. I think Deep Dive did something unique with the swimming, but then we have that in Ghost of the Deep anyway. So fuck all of them. Okay, fine. You'd get rid of them at the end of every year. But you know what you need to do? You need to get rid of some of this other shit now. We've now reached a point where as soon as the next DLC comes out, the last DLC stuff is irrelevant right away forever. At least the seasonal stuff, you knew it would go away by the end of the year. What the fuck is Wellspring doing? What is it doing? Get rid of it. Get rid of Empire Hunts. And here's a glimpse into just these extreme opinions I have. Some of these patrol zones, why do you make them? Patrol zones have been shit for longer than they've been good. Stop forcing yourself to make a new patrol zone with every DLC. Kepler is so irrelevant. It's a chore to even locate it in the game right now. I challenge you to make a DLC, a nice big DLC, like these ones that you make, without introducing a new area. Why don't you set it, especially one like a Star Wars DLC where like it's about this like criminal underbelly, but it's like it just feels like it was never there in the first place, and you're in all these new locations that are just. It's just more bloat. It's bloat. Your game is bloated again. When you try to rush out these new activities that you clearly don't have the budget for, they end up feeling more empty. Moving around in Lawless Frontiers, it makes me want to kill myself, bro. If you want to get rid of bloat from your game, why don't you get rid of Gambit, huh? You're not going to update it. You're not going to do anything with it. So remove the entire mode, and then you know what? You know what, Bungie? We will forgive you if you get all the weapons and armor from that mode and you disperse it throughout the activities in your game that are just sitting there that people want to play with tiers and new perks. That will be a good thing. Thank you. Stop wasting our time. We've talked about authenticity. We've talked about forward thinking, the DCV. Now I want to talk about the terrible monetization of this game. And let me just make something clear, okay? Let me make something fucking clear. You will never ever catch me complaining about Silver or Eververse. I don't give a fuck, okay? I never cared about it, alright? I don't give even if there's cool armor in it, I don't give a fuck, okay? I've always managed to just make something cool on my own, right? I'm talking about dungeon keys. How do you still sell these things? You do realize if you didn't make it difficult to play your game, as in if someone gets the game and then they will go, oh, okay, I got to get this thing from this dungeon. And then they try to play it and they got to get this thing called a dungeon key from 4 years ago. You do realize, right? If you just made that content free or like you included it with some big bundle that wasn't at a stupid price, because it's all old content, they're not going to be able to find people to play it anyway. Like there's a whole other process to it. Then that person would become a frequent customer. They'd become a regular player of your game, meaning they're more likely to spend money in your Eververse. I think I've bought Silver for Eververse things 3 times. If I didn't like the game because everything costs money to just play, then you would never have got my money. You'd never have gotten my money anyway. You know, this is gonna sound crazy. There are ethical, correct ways to be a shady businessman, but you're not doing it. You always squander that opportunity. When Activision, okay, let me tell you something. You can blame Activision for the idea of Destiny 2, but for the failure of Destiny 2, that's all on Bungie's hands. Activision gave you a chance to make money with okay, guys, make a Destiny 2, fuck you, make a Destiny 2. And then it wasn't Activision's idea to do double primaries, no random rolls, no armor perks, subclass trees. It wasn't their idea. That was you. And you fucked it up. You made less money that year because you made a bad game. There are clear, good ways you could have made money with Destiny, but you didn't do it. Why? I don't even know. Why are you still charging people for guns from Forsaken? If these guns were just a part of the base game, when that annual expansion time comes around, they'd be more inclined to buy it, to buy the deluxe edition, because they have played this game so much. Look at all these guns I have. I want more. And then you release these things half finished. And I can't believe I'm the one whining. I'm the one that keeps buying this stupid shit. Every single feature you add, even the quality of life features that we beg for years, you add them and it's just not right the first time. And then you do the same thing where you go, this wasn't right. We're gonna fix it in 7 years. Like, just fuck you. Remember when you made shaders consumables? Remember the terrible way you introduced transmog? Remember the terrible way... the portal. Just remember the portal. I know I said they fixed it. Kind of. They just made power leveling not shit, you know? And that's a whole other issue that I want to get into. Why would you release the tier system and then have like 70% of the game just not have it? All that armor, all those weapons, you know, like the raids, man. Like, why? You know what? Even if it wasn't a retroactive update where our current items were not tier 5, because I know that's like almost impossible to actually make work. Okay, fine, we have to grind them again. Still, it could have been that. We could have just had to grind them again. It would have been a whole new fresh start to Destiny. But no, it has to be shit for a year, and then you do a big update where it's like, oh my god, guys, look, all this stuff is back. Hurrah, a new renaissance period where everyone comes back and plays the old stuff they like. Except now it's different because you've got Marathon, and it's just like, well, why would I care if there's this new game that could potentially kill this game? If you're working on a system, don't release it in a beta state. Like, that's not just a Destiny problem, you know. I play Mortal Kombat, and you know what's so funny? Mortal Kombat is now on MK12, which is called MK1, but MK11, if you go and open MK11 now, the crossplay feature in that game, it's done. Now that game's done. We're on the next game. It still says it's in beta. The game ended and the crossplay feature is still in beta. MK1 had this feature called Warrior Shrine that said coming soon for like a year and a half, and then it comes and it's just nothing. It's just a top 3 leaderboard. If you're a Destiny like veteran, those should be like reminding you of times where things in Destiny just released in that state and we had to wait a year for them to fully implement it. That's why this marathon delay is so important, because that game was gonna launch without proximity chat. It was gonna launch without solo mode. It was so bad. I mean, this is just classic Bungie. I mean, if you want to go back, if you want to go to Unk status, bro, fucking Halo 2 was technically unfinished. How am I still playing this activity? Do I suck? I think this is my first playthrough, or like my second playthrough or something. Trying to get the catalyst, I don't even know. Guys, I'm just ranting, I'm rambling now, but I still have more stuff to say. Let's talk about artificial difficulty brackets contest mode. Okay, so after Scourge of the Past, day 1, Bungie had kind of a problem on their hands where people were complaining that, you know, following Last Wish, that day 1 was just like, oh my god, that was so easy, what the fuck? And so Bungie were like, okay, people were complaining that it was too easy. So for this next raid, Crown of Sorrow, we're going to try out this modifier called Contest Mode, where you are set at a power level. And we're going to see how people react to that. Okay. Is the experiment done now, Bungie? Have you figured it out? Being at a lower power level makes activities harder. Therefore, it makes it more challenging. Have you figured that out yet? The fact that it took people 2 hours to beat Scourge of the Past, day 1, world's first, that's not a bad thing. People saw Last Wish and the fact that it took 18 hours and they thought, oh my god, this is the future of raiding in Destiny? Oh my fucking god, whoa. The reason why Last Wish Day 1 took as long as it did was because the Vault encounter existed. Even if you remove the Vault encounter, that raid still would have taken, like the Redeem Clear, that would have taken like 11 hours, man. And even besides all that, your power level, that shit mattered, man. On day 1 Last Wish, that's the last time your power level fucking mattered. I believe Datto said himself, day 1 Last Wish, all you had was Whisper of the Worm and a dream. I agree, the day 1 raid is a sacred experience where everything is supposed to matter, but it doesn't, because your power level does not matter. Finish the campaign on Legendary, you're ready for the raid. And now you have this power level sharing mechanic, which is like, it's appreciated now, That's because you made power leveling shit. I'm still fucking going, and it's like, fucking hell, what am I doing? By the way, this is the best exotic mission ever. It's better than Whisper, it's better than 0 Hour. This is the highlight of this DLC. I just know people are just typing or whatever. If anyone's even watching this, they're just saying like, yeah, you suck, fuck you, like you're just ass. Let's see your raid report. All right, cool, bro. Listen, before the day one raid race, like it started the moment the DLC came out. Get through the campaign. What's the best way to power level? You know, all this new stuff, the best stuff, power level. Now it's not even the race starts when the raid comes out. But you know what? I just liked it more before the raid would launch. You'd be like, oh, that guy from that team is power level 650 or something. You know, let's just a random made up number. And we're 640. Fuck that guy. Fuck, man. Like it would be like, oh shit, fucking Redeem did a sublime. Were they called sublime engrams back then, or were they still called prime? I don't know, pinnacle engrams. They did a glitch that they were penalized for it later on, but not during the raid. Like people were glitching pinnacle engrams, bro. This day one raid race shit, it used to be serious from the moment the DLC came out, but now it's just do a few things and then you'll be ready. I mean, we'll drag you up anyway, so whatever. And I know this is gonna sound like I'm a broken record, but it's because they don't have stuff like strikes. The mid game power leveling is the mid game, and the mid game is ruined. It's been ruined for a long time, for years. This is not a problem that's exclusive to Edge of Fate or whatever. It's been like this for so long. It used to be that you would do a raid, and during that first run where you're learning the mechanics, you feel weak, but then you go back in right after on your other character with the guns that you got from that raid, and already you're like, oh my god, these red bars, they're dying quicker. Like, well, I feel that power fantasy was there, but now it's gone. Remember that room underneath the spawn in the Cosmodrome in Destiny 1? You went in there and people had, the wizard had a question mark next to its name. You didn't even know the level of the wizard, and it was immune to everything. And then you would, go play the game some more, come back, and then you could kill them and they'd drop some loot. Like, that's not a thing anymore. Right now, I go onto the portal and I'll do a solo up at Grandmaster difficulty, and I go in, everything falls over. I put on modifiers as well that negatively affect me, everything falls over. So then I go and I do a Grandmaster Nightfall, Vanguard alert, which is a GM, and that one has a different delta. What the fuck? What? It's just so inconsistent. I want to be able to feel the over leveling. When I hit max level, I should feel it. I should go into a raid and be like, yeah, I've conquered this thing. But you know what? This has been the norm for so long that most of the people that are listening to this now, they weren't even there when the game was like this, when you would go in and do a raid and feel weak and then finish the raid by the skin of your teeth and go back in and be like, oh yeah, I feel more powerful, and go again and feel more powerful and again, and then by the end you keep doing it and you're at the max level and you're unstoppable. They don't know what it's like. I would love for the GMs, they go through their rotation and you're weak the first time, and then when the rotation starts up again, you start going through these GMs, you're like, I'm over leveled. Like now it's like, yeah, fuck these GMs, man. Fuck these GMs. I'm fucking strong. That's what it's supposed to feel like. It's a looter shooter. We shouldn't need things like contest mode and power delta modifiers. We shouldn't need that. These things should have natural power levels within them. It should be designed in a way where, their irrelevancy should just come from the fact that, we're like 2 DLCs ahead, the power level of that is still back there, so then just create a new version of it where the power, it's just some numbers. It really is just some numbers. You tweak the numbers, you go in and you QA it a little bit, and then it's ready to go again. And then add some new stuff to it. Refresh the guns every once in a while, because this is fine. When you add new perks that power creep the last perks, that's acceptable. That is acceptable power creep, and that warrants a loot refresh of the old raids. Fine. But when you do stuff like the tier system and you leave these old raids behind, that's different. That is bad. I'm going to go back to talking about PvP for a second. I want to dedicate its own section to it. I think I did rant about it earlier and I went off the rails. Look, okay. PvP in a game like this, it's always been an uphill battle, okay? Whenever people talk about like the old days of PvP, it's like, what old days, man? House of Wolves? When Thorn was two-tapping people? What old days are you talking about? There's always been some bullshit in this game. Like, people like the PvP experts, man. People that are way better than I'm not good at PvP at all. I think I'll put some PvP gameplay up at the start of this video. Like, I'm just so mid at PvP, bro. I'm so mid at it. I've only been flawless once. But listen here, man. The tick rate. A game like with tick rate like this does not warrant the passion the PvP tryhards have in this game for this game. Like, to my memory, 48 hertz refresh rate servers. Where is the outcry for better servers, you know? Like, I see outcries for, okay, well, cheating, that's fair enough. This game has a cheating problem, it does. But people that complain about like meta and like airborne effectiveness, and it's just like, man, what do you expect? This game has raids, strikes, all these activities, patrols, and you want PvP, like you want all this stuff. Like, why do you play this game? Go play Valorant. You know what? And I understand Halo is shit, you know? A game like Halo would probably save you from this game. But the more we carry on, and like the more like after every like twid we see, oh, why aren't you saying anything about PvP? I'm like Speed trying not to laugh. Like, what? You're still here? You're still here. You've had nothing in 3 years. Yeah, wait, what year is it? Yeah, 3 years. You've had nothing. Like, in my ideal scenario, this game would get at least 64 hertz servers, so the refresh rate of the server matches the minimum refresh rate of the console. Actually, that's not true because people are still playing this on PS4, and that's 30 frames per second. Please forgive me if I'm wrong about this, but the way I understand it is like, so the server is 48 hertz, right? It's like it's exchanging information at a 48 hertz refresh rate, and meanwhile, your monitor is exchanging information. My monitor's 180 hertz, and I play this game at 100. Like, I'll lower the settings on Crucible and play 180 hertz. I'm receiving more information than the server, and then you start to think, like, is this why whenever I use an automatic weapon with a high RPM, like an SMG or maybe an auto rifle on a rare occasion where that might be meta, and you feel like you're shooting it and you're seeing the numbers, and it's like those numbers. The rate at which I'm seeing numbers is not matching the rate at which my gun is firing. You know, that's why like it feels like when I use an SMG, I use the multi-mark still, and I'm just like, yeah, there's like 4 ghost bullets, man, and then obviously like melee whiffing and throwing down tracking grenades, and it's like sometimes you throw it down on the flat surface and the other guy's on the flat surface, and it doesn't track, and you're just thinking like, did that grenade like tick at a wrong time? This is why, since the game came out, the best feeling guns have been pulse rifles, hand cannons, snipers, shotguns, fusions. You know, like it's been, for me, like the prosecutor is one of the rare few auto rifles that haven't made me want to just jump off a building, because it's a 450, you know, it's a slow fire rate, so you can like the bullets match the numbers, you know, like, oh, that bullet landed and a number came out, you know, like I swear to God, and I know I'm not the only person that has this feeling. This is why, like, sometimes mag dumping someone with an SMG feels kind of off, you know, like some bullets don't register. It's why sometimes you get a lucky headshot on someone behind cover when you're using a 120. Like, I feel it all the time. It's why sometimes I shoot people's fucking shadows and it hits, you know. It's why your melee's with. I feel the slowness of this game's servers, and it doesn't match how fast we are, you know. So Destiny PvP, it's genuinely just so fucked, you know. PvP players, they cry out for maps. Like, you want maps? Oh, you have no idea, man. You got no idea. If you want new maps so bad, you know, why don't you just... You have the Vex network. It is an aesthetically consistent location where you don't need to do, like, different textures. Why don't you create, like, a Forge mode for us where we can make our own maps and then you can just feature them? if you don't have the resource, like what happened to the strike team? They probably got fired. It's still bad though. Like you could still, even with the state it's in, like trials every weekend, you know, comp mode, and Iron Banner monthly, just Iron Banner, you know, and every expansion year, refresh the Iron Banner weapons and have them available only once a month, 1 week a month, and that just creates. It's a healthy bit of FOMO. People talk about FOMO as if it's the devil. It's not. This is a live service game, okay? You need a little bit of FOMO. Iron Banner is healthy FOMO, okay? 1 week every month, get these guns. Next expansion year, there'll be new guns, you know? Just like, fuck, 6 guns, 5 guns. Okay, short-term bother, long-term gain. This is the most cooperative I've been in this video. Like, 64 hertz. Fix the servers, map creator in the Vex network, monthly Iron Banner, and like a comp gun every season. That's it, okay? Okay, obviously your like trials stuff, or you get new trials shit with an expansion, you know, render resets, all that. In terms of like, if you want anything else, anything more, I don't know why you're playing this game. I don't know. Go play Counter-Strike. Go play Valorant. Go play COD, man. I don't fucking know. Colony Deeks, the main Destiny leaker. All this stuff is leading up to this final thing here, which is Destiny 3. So Colony Deeks basically just confirmed that they have just started working on Destiny 3. Wow, I'm shit at this game. Holy shit, look at that fucking gameplay. Wow. But yeah, Destiny 3, it's happening. Not soon. You know, maybe like 2028 earliest, you know, and that would be bad if it's 2028. All these things, they need to be fixed for Destiny 3 to be good. You need to do some forward thinking. You need to have meaningful content that doesn't go stale so quickly, you know, like what in 1 year. That's bad, man. That's bad. Okay, if I'm just thinking about Destiny 3, and it's like if they're gonna launch it and it won't have quality of life features that Destiny 2 has. Like what if they launch Destiny 3 and there's no loadout system? What if they launch Destiny 3 and there's no ornament system, you know? No synthweave. Like, I'm really scared about these things because Bungie have proven to do these things, and other game devs as well. This is a modern game dev thing. So like Destiny 3, yes, it will be a good cash injection, momentum injection, whatever you want to call it, you know, undoubtedly. But it's not the answer to everything, because these guys have proven that they fucking suck sometimes, man. Most of the time. Now with Marathon, it just seems like it's not a sure thing anymore. I tried doing some research on the Marathon server tick rate, and Joe Ziegler, the big man over there, Mr. Marathon, the director, he came from Valorant, which has 120 hertz, and they have, you know, they've gone on Twitter publicly stating, our servers are great, we have dedicated servers, you know, which means they're probably going to be nice and tip-top shape. Oh my god. And, you know, Destiny players, I feel your pain. PvP players, I feel it, man. I do feel it. We're both in the same boat here. So yeah, that's like everything wrong with Destiny. Maybe I missed a few things. If I did, maybe I'll complain about them in some other video. I don't know. But as for Marathon, it looks, hey man, Bungie clearly care about it. The music is great, but that's not gameplay. That short film made by the Love, Death and Robots guy, great. You know, that's what really started the turning of my opinion. And then the Viadoc came out, and it's like, okay, so they care about this game, and all the people that made Destiny good are working on. They've been there the whole time. You know, where the fuck have you been, Scott Taylor, Steve Cotton? Where the fuck have you been? Oh, there you are. I thought you guys would quit me or something. Oh no, you've been working on Marathon. Okay, all right. So that's why Destiny's shit. Oh, there you go. I finally beat the mission. It's probably a good time to end it then. Yeah, man. If you're watching this, you know, if this didn't get swallowed by the algorithm, leave your thoughts. Call me an idiot. Tell me to drop my raid report. Like, I don't need to drop my raid report. Like, bro, I don't do day ones. I don't do that. I got no day ones on my belt. I'm just a Andy, bro. But this shit used to mean something, man. It used to mean something, and they let it go to shit. Don't tell me I failed this. No, I don't. Anyway, peace.